And we are back for the final hour of this combined, as it turns out, session 0 and session a half, maybe?
Yeah, so session 0.5 we'll
Yes,
call it.
session 0.5.
The prelude.
Yes, thank you. It's the prelude, obviously, that's exactly it. And we rejoin the crew on board the ship as they continue to drift outwards, slowly but certainly out towards the open ocean again, and everybody on board is completely stricken by what they've just seen. The people are weeping, or in many cases they are furious and livid and impotently so. They're, hands that are clenching and unclenching, and grown men who tear at their beards and their hair, and occasionally you hear one of them burst out in an incoherent scream of rage because what they've just seen was, and being able to do nothing about it.
I think for Baggy, he's just slumped against the side of the ship, just staring out into. He isn't really there. He's somewhere else entirely.
Yeah, same for Frode.
I would say Gelfi is not too far away from them. Like he's a bit, I would say a bit separate, but under. If anybody is like within hearing distance, they start hearing like in his very like almost I would say like very high, slightly high pitched and quite effeminate voice because because with him, like he starts slowly singing like a bit of a morning song.
Oh yes, a dirge. Yes.
Yeah, and I would imagine it sounds a little bit in tune. Obviously, words are different, but like in tune to the dwarf songs from the Hobbit.
Yeah,
from the
actually,
Hobbit.
that's actually a very good comparison. Definitely.
Yeah, like I suppose he's like, because he's not aware how loud he's singing. Like he probably sings it loud enough so the people like within like two arms reach can hear him.
Yes.
Obviously, his voice is like breaking because like he has back to everybody of the crew, but because he's crying like a motherfucker.
Yes.
I think this brings Baggy back to the present, and I think he joins in with the song.
Yeah. Even Sindri's still up on the mast, watching perhaps a little too intently in the direction of the shore, as if staring at it hard enough will either make it go away or will somehow cause the Phelan to all spontaneously combust. Even he sort of gets the wherewithal to sort of mutter along to it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You finish, obviously. You finish the song, and one of the battle maidens on board. Let me just find which one. Here we go. Spy stands up when you're done and the song is at its end. She stands up, and you all know that she's the only one who didn't have family and to lose in there. She still lost friends, but she didn't have family to lose because her family was dead long before she got on board. Only one other person on the ship has anything comparable to that, and that's Duiri, this fellow. But And he's looking around very, very nervously, because some of you know that he originally came from Phelan lands. But Spanna stands up and waits until everybody is silent, and then Rani nods to her, and she speaks up in a clear voice, and she speaks the traditional prayer for the dead, and it goes: "We give of ourselves so that our people may prosper. We go hungry so that others may eat. We fight so that others may live in peace. We do our duty so that others will not have to. We give our lives that Our Lady will be victorious. Each of us is but one stick in a bundle. Each of us can be broken. Each of us may fail. But together we are stronger than black iron. Together we are unbreakable. Together we will triumph. And though we die, we live on by the will of the powers. If I should fall, bring word to my father. Tell my mother and my brothers. Let my sister know that I am no longer with them. My friends, my kinsmen, my village, my people. Sing my song to them, and let your voice carry me to the powers. And remember me, for I am happy now, and at peace at last. And build me a pyre to remove what is left of me. Watch as the smoke rises to the sky, and remember me. Laugh when you think of me, and smile at the memory of happier days, sunshine, song, and good ale. For I am no longer with you, but I am happy now, and at peace at last." And at this point, half the boat is crying.
Including Buggy.
And Frody.
It's not an easy night to get through, obviously. To put it mildly, it's probably the worst night of any of your lives. You've never, none of you have ever gone through a night like this before, obviously, and hopefully none of you will ever experience anything even remotely comparable again. Very few of you get any sleep really whatsoever.
Yeah, I would say that if like Gylfi as much as he can, he if somebody's really like still writing in, like he has like complete start to have nightmares, and just just hurling around in their sleep, he would try to at least make some kind of some kind of herbal something to calm them down and try to help them sleep, whoever needs it.
Yes. You basically you make some calming concoction that people can drink from what herbs you have with you, and some of the crew are actually quite grateful for it, and take some of it to to sleep at least a little, because they realize that if they get a chance to go back to shore tomorrow, then they have to take it. And the next morning, as you guys do come around. Oh, sorry. Did you have anything you want?
No. I was just saying that if he can because he knows he is not useful in a battle. Like he can even skip as much sleep as he can.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The next morning does obviously eventually arrive. Just before sunrise, when you can see this thin sliver of light on the horizon, the wind picks up and it starts to carry you towards shore. And as you get there, or as you get a little bit closer, so you can see, or at least so Sindri up at the yard can see, you realize that the Phelan ships they're gone. There's, well, at least the vast majority. The one that Frody managed to put to the torch is, well, that's still there.
You know what? Even though he feels horrible, that at least manages to make him feel a little good.
Yeah, at least
If only for a moment.
you at least struck a blow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there are no other ships on the shore, none. What ships belong to Hyrborg have clearly been stolen, and yeah, that's the so it, for all intents and purposes, it does look like you could. It does look like you could go ashore if you wanted to.
Need to look at how to pronounce this word. I keep forgetting. Yeah, I'm going to make an assumption because I was going to make actually guess at it. Sindri's still up in the mast, seeing this. Actually, climbs down it to speak to Ormerani directly. Just says, aside from the one ship that Frody was able to torch, the Niding have all left. It seems.
Well, then we go ashore. Grani, I'm holding you to your vow. You will stay with the ship, just in case some of the bastards are waiting for us. You will stay with the ship, with some of the crew, and you will guard it with your life. Grani nods and immediately looks and says, Spanna, Jangerder, Duiri, Bjorn, Daxtir, you stay with me. And he goes along the length of the ship, taps a few other crewmen on the shoulder. None of them are named, but he taps a few of them on the shoulder and tells them to stay with him as well. Some of them look distraught because they too want to find out what's happened to their families, but of course he lets them know that they will get a chance to go and see when the first group comes back, and then everyone else, everyone can get back on the oars, and well, first since the wind has picked up, you can make it most of the way there under sail, which is obviously preferable because it means you won't spend any of your strength hauling on the oars. And eventually, you do in fact have to go the last little bit under oars, because it's the only way. If you go all the way up on the beach under sail, you're never leaving that beach again.
Yeah.
Shallow draft or not, you're never leaving that beach again if you do that. So you do go ashore. You do see the horrors, the absolute horrors of what has happened. People lying on the beach where they were cut down warriors, friends, in some cases family. As I said, old men and children amongst each other. It's dreadful. There are a few Phelan casualties as well. The attackers didn't even bother bringing them with them. They just left them there. They've taken their weapons and stripped them of their armor, but the rest they've just left their men there.
I think each and every one of those gets a kick.
Yeah.
So, Joan, leaving your men there,
Yeah.
is that dishonorable?
Oh, it's massively dishonorable. It might be because they are hirelings. If they've, that would also make sense. As you stand there and look around, you realize this. You've traveled enough to see, you know enough about the Phalans to know that there is no way that family has enough troops to do something like this on their own. None whatsoever. So basically, the only way they could have done this is if they spent every shred of silver and every piece of amber and every promise they have been able to make to hirelings and enemy warbands in order to get them to fight for them, and they've just left their fallen.
Okay.
They must have pretty much bankrupted themselves on this, except of course now they've had a chance to probably loot Hyrborg.
Yes. So, a gamble.
A gamble, very much so.
Yeah, it seems to have, in the short term at least, paid off.
And yep. So you get to, as I said, to get these you get to see these dreadful things on the beach, and several of the crew are they're on the verge of exploding with rage. Almar, the man who nearly threw himself overboard the night before, finds his family lying there, and literally in the surf of the water line. His children, literally at the water line.
So I think if you'll let me, John.
Yeah, of course.
I think Baggy starts walking up to his own house,
Of course.
where his family lives.
Yeah.
And it's a very slow walk because he dreads what he's about to see.
He doesn't want to
Nope.
get there.
No, and when he does reach the house, I imagine that he just sees his wife's hand in the doorway. Basically, she's lying on the other side of the wall, and her hand is exposed in the doorway. And he stops, and he looks at the hand for a moment, absolutely distraught at what he sees, and he turns around. He can't.
No.
The idea of watching his children dead is just too much for him. So he turns around and runs down to the beach.
Yeah. Of course, he doesn't go up there on his own. People, in case there are people up there still, Phelan troops still left behind. The whole crew goes together, or the group goes together, and it's as you said, that scene happens. You see all of your homes have been put to the torch. There isn't a single building standing inside Hyrborg. Several of them are, all of them are still smoldering. Obviously, it's not burnt completely out yet. The Great Hall is in fact still burning at this time. It's not a raging inferno, but there are still flames.
It's a large building.
It's a very large building, obviously, and it's again, the devastation is total. You don't see a single survivor, not one. Everyone is dead. There are piles of dead bodies. And in fact, you also, let me see, who spots this? Ylva, you spot something.
All right.
What you see is on one of the pillars, the great gates that leads into the fortress, you see a piece of vellum, which is like parchment, basically, made from animal skin. Has been,
all right.
Yeah, it has been stuck on there with a very long, very thick arrow.
Strange, since we don't really write.
Exactly. There isn't much of a written language, but there is a written language, but it's not much. And and the arrow is unusually long, and it's unusually heavy in construction.
Well, I yank it out
Yeah.
and take the vellum.
Yes.
Just an FYI, just in general, Baggy can read and write.
Oh.
She probably knows this after a couple of weeks.
That's why I mentioned it. So.
Yeah.
Unless Joe,
fact.
you have any objections to that.
No whatsoever.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I forgot. You're assumed to be illiterate.
Yeah, most of you. Well, actually, that's a good point. Reading and writing is a skill. So if you haven't taken the skill, then you wouldn't be able to actually read and write. Because literacy is at this so-called tech level in the game. Literacy is a separate skill.
Fair enough. Just because I have the chance to, I'll say that since the Great Hall is burning, Frodi will have stopped in his tracks to just stare at it for long.
Yeah, of course. Ormer goes around with a few others, of course, and eventually he finds his father in the mass of corpses, and he just stands there and stares. His father has been beheaded, and the head is nowhere to be seen.
Probably.
And
It's very quiet.
you're exceptionally far away.
I think it's because when I unmute, there's a few seconds delay where the sound kind of builds up.
Oh, right, yeah.
And since, I need to try and time it, sometimes I just unmute and talk instantly.
All right. Well, he stands there. He looks at the body. A moment later, Rani comes over to him and shakes his head and says something to him quietly, and at that point you can see, for the first time, you see Ormer's shoulders actually slump, and he covers his face with his hands. I mean, he's still only 16. And
Oh boy.
and Rani puts a hand on his shoulder and tries to look, tries to reassure him somehow, but it's not the man's greatest strength.
Andrew will be looking around at all this and will
Yeah.
comment more to himself in a daze than anything else. I truly had no idea that anyone's hatred could reach such heights as this.
Yeah. Just as you say that, the man known as Black Sweetie walks past you and says, "Then savor that and hide it away and nurture it. And one day, probably not too distant future, you will hate even deeper than this. And that'll be a weapon."
Sindri opens his mouth, about to explain that he was actually talking about the hatred that the Phalans had for the family at Hubor, that they could sink to such dishonourable and deceitful methods to achieve destruction. But aside from obviously the point that obviously this is something that Speedy feels very strongly about, Sindri realizes that actually, yes, you know what, I do feel quite hateful at this point. So he has a point.
He does have a point, yes.
So I'll shut up now.
And one of the things that somebody asks is, what do? We're never going to be able to bury everyone. And at that point, Ormer looks up, wipes his eyes, looks up and says, "No, but we will find our families and we will give them the proper send-off. We will give them a pyre, and then the rest is in the hands of the powers." And just as he says that, you hear a strange sound. Let me see, who of you does that? Baggy, you hear a very strange sound. You're actually heading back towards the gate to leave because, as you said, and you're just about to head out, and then this and you realize that an arrow has literally just gone past your head, and
Okay.
and from some of the ruins, men start pouring out. They're all wearing Phalan colors.
Baggy shouts, "We're under attack!"
And we're going to stop there until next time.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, we're going to stop there because that's such a good place to stop a prelude.
You're horrible.
Yes.
You're horrible. And I wish something slightly unpleasant to happen to you, like an onion falling on your head.
Ow. Well, we did get to RP today, so you should all get some XP.
Mm-hmm.
And XP in GURPS functions exactly like the points with which you bought your character. So you can spend them on skills, and in Frothy's case on spells, and that sort of thing.
Cool.
And you get. We didn't get to play that long today, obviously, so you get 2 points for today.
Okay. And where does one note that?
Yeah, I was just about to say it's a place to note.
Let me see. There should be.
Maybe just in
some
bio and info.
Yeah,
No,
you can always add it there.
I would say in the character sheet there is a point summary and there's a total. I think you could add it to that, maybe.
Yeah, but then how do you? If you add it to total, then There is one called unspent.
Yeah, if you add it to total, I think it will just update the unspent.
Exactly.
How about to other then?
No, because other designates the actual spend points.
See this.
Just edit the total number, and it should update your unspent points to 2.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I can see someone added to mine.
Yeah, no, I just removed it again. I just wanted to make sure that was how it happened. So
Yeah, I'm also confused. I remember there's a reason that mine is at -3.
yeah, it is. You have spent the correct amount. I don't know why it does that, but we'll just fiddle around with it until it works. We did have certain problems with that little XP box. Let's face it.
Yeah.
3 under others then.
Yeah, that's fine. So, ladies and gentle Southlanders.
There's a contradiction in terms.
Yes, really.
Hey.
There is.
I don't know. I'm pretty gentle.
Yes, well, Goofy is also very much the exception to the rule. But that was our session 0 and our session 0.5 rolled into one. And we are now underway. So, fantastic.
Very cool.
And we will be back next week, ladies and gentlemen of the viewing audience, with session 1, episode 1 of The Long Voyage. And that will start out fun and games with a fight.
Yay!
So, yay!
We'll get into the room.
Yes.
But maybe we can try diplomacy.
No.
Can we talk about it,
Killed
guys?
everyone else, but we're main characters. Could we maybe not be killed, please?
Can we talk about it?
Go to the back where you belong, Goofy.
Hey, well, basically, this is part of the crew of the ship that had its end burned off last night. So, they've been left behind to make sure that nobody snuck back in.
And someone snuck back in.
Somebody snuck back in.
Yes. Well, let's just hope that we survive this. That'd be a tragic end to the game if we all die here.
Yes, it would be.
TPK.
Well,
Considering how important this world is to you, Game Master, would you consider fudging a few dice, maybe?
Oh, please don't.
I
Please
won't
don't.
fudge anything. I'm not fudging.
Good.
I'm rolling openly so that you can all see what I roll.
If you want to bring the skeleton of your story crashing down around you, that's fine by me.
It's fine. All right, guys. Well, we shall end the recording here, and for the viewing audience, I hope you'll be back next week for more of The Long Voyage, and we'll see you then. So, bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.